Damn. I wanted that shutout. I don't ever predict a shutout for Georgia, ever. It's just so hard to shut somebody out. But the closer it gets to the end of the game and you have the shutout going, then you really start wanting it, you know. I really did want that shutout at the end. And then if we weren't going to get the shutout, I was like, well, let us hold them to a field goal then at least, because, of course, Georgia hasn't given up a touchdown all year. Georgia finally does give up its first touchdown of the year with 53 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And Georgia just put an absolute beatdown of biblical proportions on Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks, 48-7. And really, it could have been much worse. Stetson Bennett came out about halfway through the third quarter, or towards the end of the third quarter. Carson Beck got a lot of playing time in the fourth quarter. Brock Vandergriff ran a couple of series in the fourth quarter. It was fifth and sixth string walk-on running backs playing, fifth and sixth string defensive guys playing. So a lot of guys got to get some work today, but just another dominating performance by Georgia. I mean, it's getting a little pointless for me to come on here after some of these games. I mean, it's not even really... Well, it is fun to laugh at South Carolina because they're just a disaster, but this is just starting to become the norm now for Georgia. You know, I've been a Georgia fan a long time, and I've seen some good Georgia teams, but the good Georgia teams I'm used to seeing would have came into this game against Carolina, and they would have won this game, 31-20. Mark Richt had a lot of good teams at Georgia. He wasn't beating people like this on a regular basis. It wasn't happening. Mark Richt never started a season by beating Oregon. I don't even remember what the score of that game was anymore now. What was it? 42-3, 45, whatever it was. And in the second game, 33-0. Third game, 48-7. This wasn't happening under Mark Richt, and he had some good teams. This is domination on a level that I've never seen from Georgia in my lifetime. Obviously, they had some great teams in the early 80s with Herschel Walker and those guys, but this is just domination like I've never seen from a Georgia team. And I think I made the comment, I think it was on the Patreon live stream during the game. And this isn't meant to be trash talk or anything. If you're a college football fan, I feel like you probably have to see this too. What we're seeing right now with Georgia is the closest thing to Nick Saban's run at Alabama that I've ever seen anywhere else in college football. It's just, they lose guys to the NFL, they put second stringers in, there's no drop-off. They go 2 and 3 deep at every single position just about with almost no drop-off. And they are just beating the life out of every single team they play. They gave up a touchdown today. That's the first touchdown they've given up this year. Going back to last year, they've only given up now 3 touchdowns. They've given up 3 touchdowns in their last 5 games. 2 of those 5 games were a playoff game and a national title game. So you can say, well, it's South Carolina or it's Samford or it's Oregon. Okay, we gave up 1 touchdown against Michigan in a playoff game. We gave up 1 touchdown against Alabama in a national title game. Are they no good? This is, I mean, if maybe you're an Alabama or Ohio State fan or whoever, and you've got more national titles than Georgia. And in general, in my lifetime, you've been a better program than Georgia. But I've never experienced anything like that. This is unbelievable to watch as a Georgia fan. It's getting to the point where, as a Georgia fan, if we don't shut a team out, it's disappointing. I mean, we're up 48-0, and I'm on the Patreon stream pacing in circles around here because I don't want Carolina to score a damn touchdown. I've just never seen Georgia play this way. Last year, it sort of, from week to week, I was like, is this going to continue? And it just kept on. And now this year, it's almost become expected. And I know South Carolina and Samford aren't great teams, but Oregon might be a pretty good team. We don't know. They play BYU today. We'll see what Oregon does today against BYU. BYU's undefeated. They beat Baylor last week. They're a legitimate top 25 team. We'll see what Oregon does against BYU today. But if Oregon beats BYU, what are all y'all going to say? Y'all spent 3 weeks telling me that Oregon is like the 100th worst team in the country just because Georgia beat them by 40 points. Look, this breaking news. There's 130 FBS teams. There's about 115 of them that Georgia would beat by 40 points, okay? There ain't very many teams in the country that can even hang with Georgia. Never mind have a chance to beat them. Georgia would be a favorite today over any team in America on a neutral field, including Alabama, including Ohio State, Michigan, Southern Cal, Oklahoma, Clemson, whatever team you want to name. I'm not saying Georgia would beat them, and I'm not saying Georgia's going to win the national title, But if you've been watching college football this year, it's clear Georgia's the best team. Georgia's the best team in the country right now, and I don't think anybody would want to play them right now. I'm dead serious. I don't think anybody would want to play them. Alabama has not looked as good as Georgia so far this year. Ohio State has not looked as good as Georgia so far this year, and those are widely considered to be the top 3 teams. 4, 5, and 6, you get some varying opinions, right? Michigan, Clemson, Oklahoma, some combination of that. Where does Southern Cal fit in? Well, we'll find out as the season goes along. And what are going to be any surprise teams? What about Michigan State? Whatever. We'll figure all that out. Kentucky, we'll figure all that out, right? But through 3 weeks of the season, Georgia is playing at a level. They're on another level. Georgia's on another level right now than anyone else in college football. In the offseason, we were told it's Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, and then a drop-off. Right now, it's Georgia, and then a drop-off, and then Bama. And then y'all can argue over 3 through 10. I would probably still have Ohio State as a clear 3. But Georgia right now is a monster, and I don't know who can reel it in. I don't. Is Georgia going to win back-to-back national titles? I'm asking. Look, I said all off season, Georgia's not winning back-to-back national titles. It's too hard to win back-to-back national titles. This team is something to watch. This team is something. And look, the comments are going to be filled with people saying it's South Carolina. Okay, what did you watch? You got to watch these games. You got to watch the games. Georgia has players and playmakers at every single position on both sides of the ball. It's ridiculous to watch. It's ridiculous to watch. Kirby Smart, hell of a coach. And you know what? Kirby Smart's a nice guy, too. Kirby Smart's a nice guy. I bet you next year he'll hire Nick Saban as an analyst.